With the 6th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Malik Nabers, wide receiver, LSU.
The New York Giants are a team that really struggled last season, never got into any sort of flow, the QB situation was a mess outside of the fun run by Tommy Devito, and outside of that, it was just a season to forget for this franchise. And I'm not saying they're going to turn things around and be a playoff threat in 1 year, but they drafted an electric receiver by the name of Malik Nabers out of LSU. And I think this team is going to put together a fun season, and people are going to look at them as a group of guys with tons of potential rather than what they are right now. So in this video, I want to talk about what Daniel Jones needs to do to bounce back and have a good season, and what the outlook of this team is heading into 2024. But before I begin, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind. We are now on the road to 30k subscribers, and with your support, I believe we can get there super fast. So day 1 of OTAs has officially wrapped up, and we have some major injury news to talk about with Daniel Jones. He did participate in 7-on-7s, but will he be ready to go? I don't think anyone knows. OTAs are organized team activities that's really phase 3 of the Giants offseason, and really the first time that the entire team comes together with the rookies and they start to get some work in on the field. Daniel Jones is looking to get back to the QB that many people expected him to be. He's coming off a huge injury, and honestly, I just feel like he needs to look at the big picture and take things one step at a time. I honestly thought the Giants would trade for or pick another QB in the draft, but I guess they plan to ride out with and trust Jones for another year, and honestly, I'm cool with this, because they got him an elite young wide receiver to develop with, and they didn't feel confident in the QBs on the board, so they didn't want to reach and wanted to hold off for potentially next year's draft or free agency, or best case scenario, Jones can prove why he is worth the money they gave him. In 2023, before his injury, Jones had one of the worst, if not the worst, quarterback stats in the league, throwing for 909 yards with 2 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. But he's not that far removed from 2022, in which he threw for 3,200 yards with a 15-5 touchdown to interception ratio. Those are very solid numbers, and it's something he's looking to get back to. The 2-6 ratio he had last season is something he will look to forget. And like I said, he will now have a potential star to throw to in Malik Nabers, who the Giants selected with the number 6 overall pick in the draft. Many scouts said there was a possibility of him being taken before Marvin Harrison Jr. That's how much talent this kid has. Last season at LSU, with Jaden Daniels under center, he put up 1,569 yards with 14 receiving touchdowns. And really, he led probably outside of the Joe Burrow season, the best offense we have ever seen this school have, and if it wasn't for the abysmal defense, they would have been a top 4 team in college football. Despite the lack of polish and precision as a route runner, Nabers' gliding movements and speed alterations seem to disguise the top end speed and separation potential that await opposing coverages. He's a bouncy leaper with the athletic ability to make the impossible catches possible. Moving on to the rest of the draft, with the 47th pick in the 2nd round, they selected Tyler Nubin, a safety out of Minnesota. He was a productive player throughout his time at Minnesota, appearing in 12 games as a freshman and 7 games as a sophomore. He became a full-time starter in 2021. He brings a physical presence, he excels at playing the run, his physical play style and strength help make him one of the best safeties in the draft. He's definitely a guy that can step in and help this defensive unit right away. Next in round 3, they selected Andrew Phillips, a corner out of Kentucky. He was one of Kentucky's top defensive players in the 2023 season. He has a good blend of length and athleticism, combined with the versatility to play the outside cornerback and slot positions. Throughout his career, he has shown the ability to be a core special teams player as well. When playing in pass coverage, Phillips is at best when in off-zone coverage, where he is able to use his awareness and vision to identify routes as they develop downfield. He has above average speed, but can fall into trouble with his lack of recovery speed and top end speed to run downfield. He performs best when he has help over the top and is able to play in underneath coverage. Overall, I think he is a great guy to have for now and the upcoming future. In the 4th round, at pick 107, the Giants selected Theo Johnson, a tight end out of Penn State. He was an honorable mention All Big Ten Conference, tied for the team lead with 7 receiving touchdowns, and started all 13 games last season. Johnson's size and positional flexibility alone make him an intriguing prospect. He has the size and strength of a true inline tight end, along with the movement skills of someone who can be flexed all around the formation. Penn State constantly played Johnson on the ball, off the ball, in the backfield, as an H-back, in the slot, and wideout. The rest of the draft, the Giants kinda obviously just picked the best available and guys they felt had a high enough ceiling to potentially develop and play for them in the future seasons or help out now if guys get injured. Moving on, now I want to talk about the current roster around Daniel Jones because they obviously lost Saquon Barkley to Philly and there is a lot to improve on in many positions, but I do think they have a nice core foundation. In the backfield, the Giants will roll out with Devin Singletary and Eric Gray as their 1-2 punch. I don't expect too much from them, but maybe they can surprise some people. But moving over to the wide receiving core, this is what I'm most excited about with this team. They of course have Nabers, but behind him will be Darius Slayton, who put up 770 yards and 4 touchdowns last season. And then there's Wan'Dale Robinson and Jalen Hyatt right behind them. And then they of course have Darren Waller at tight end, and we all know how much talent he possesses. So it's not like Jones doesn't have the weapons. Really, the only thing the offense might struggle with is offensive line play. And because of that, it may make things tough. Switching over to the defensive side of the ball, I think they have something special developing in the trenches. Their defensive line is pretty top notch, and like I said, through the draft and just who they have brought in over the years, there is a ton of talent in the secondary behind them as well. Now it's just all about putting it all together. Looking at the schedule that just recently came out, they will open the season at MetLife Stadium against the Vikings, and I think this is going to be an intriguing matchup against JJ McCarthy, and really, this game will set the tone for both teams. The Giants definitely have a pretty tough schedule next year. There are many winnable games, but they got to go through the AFC North, which is the toughest division in the league. And then they of course will have to face the Cowboys and Eagles, who I don't see them beating unless they have one lucky game. Let me know in the comments below how you are feeling about this Giants team heading into 2024, who your favorite draft pick they made was, and also if you think Daniel Jones is the QB of the future. Thank you all so much if you made it to this point in the video, and if you enjoyed and haven't yet, please make sure to drop a like and subscribe because your support truly does mean the world. And also, one more thing, follow me on Instagram because I'm starting to post cool sports content every single day. And until next time, I will see you all later.
In the 2024 NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Malik Nabers.
Yes! Yeah! Wow. That's what we needed right there.
Wow.
The New York Giants select Malik.
We got another wide receiver! Wow!